Are we on? Yes. Is it safe? Is it safe in the background? Can I have that on? I won't get struck off or cancelled that by now. Okay, right. Okay. Not what I was led to believe. Anyway, hello. It is El Retro Bear here once again, and welcoming you. Hello. Alright, I'm quite sure yes, I was quite sure what was going on there, but let's pretend I don't know what's going on. My God, it's shocking, isn't it? No. Hello, El Retro Bear here once again in the El Gaming Pantry with another El video. I'm Mexican for some reason, or Spanish, I don't know. Yeah, hope you're well. Good to see you back here again. We have a game in the room. Haven't done that for a while, have we? Catherine on the 360. Yeah. Mrs. Bear's request said put a game on in the background, so I thought I'll put that on. Mainly because I've gone through about 3 or 4 360 games, and that's the only one that's got in the track mode that I wanted to, well, I wasn't wanting to show that one particular. But anyway, at least we know it works. Bought that quite a while back, that one anyway. So you may have Catherine. You may not. But if you have, this may inspire you to buy it. That may inspire you to buy it. I don't know. A lot going on there, isn't there? Yeah, it's a weird one, this one. Yes, so we'll see how you go. Anyway, hope you're well. Nice to see you back. Been a while. We've got a few things to get through. We got some actual pickups, a few promotions to talk about. I'm wearing the only Pokemon merchandise I own. I won't show you the rest because it's a bit tight. It's a bit tight. I'm getting on a bit now. The old middle-aged spread is now developing into sort of middle-aged full-fat spread, as opposed to, you know, low-fat spread. There's enough analogies on that anyway. Yes, so been rather quiet around here recently, but there's been a reason for that. It's just other things going on, or not actually. Not really doing a fat lot. Watching a lot of telly at the moment, I know that. But yeah, so yeah, trying to get back in the swing of it. But if I'm not doing pickups and things, it's the gameplay videos, and well, gameplay videos are all well and good. They're not the be all and end all, are they? So yeah, so I've got all the stuff out to do the next Play More in 24, which is sort of stalled, and I just haven't got around to doing it yet. So I will do that at some point. I will get back on the horse, as they say. But yeah, I've hardly been up here really. I've hardly been in here since I last did a video, which was the Gran Turismo B license challenge. Yeah, I've not really spent a lot of time in here. I'm sort of neglecting stuff and things. You know, it's a bit of a shame really, but that's just how it is. I just haven't really felt like it. You know, you thought the old Play More in 24 would have inspired me a bit, but yeah, I don't know, just seems to have stalled a little bit. Hopefully the second half of this year will be completely different, because there's a lot going on. More importantly, a couple of dates for your diary. If you haven't got your tickets yet for Revival, Game Not Over, 8th and 9th in June at Dunstall Racecourse in Wolverhampton, long weekend, and believe me, until you spend a long weekend in Wolverhampton, you have no idea what a long weekend is. But definitely worth going, in association with our good friends at Hidden Chest and Vintage Gamer, as frequented many times by yours truly. Yes, I think as Tootie said in his last video, it's going to be a bit of a banger. It's only a week and a half away. Is it a week and a half away? Week away. It's actually less than a week and a half away. By the time this video goes out, it'll be the same week. I'm pretty sure of it, yeah. Yeah, it's an expo. It's not a gaming market, it's an expo. Stu again very, very quite clearly pointed out in his last video, and he's quite right. There's going to be something for everybody. If you want to go buy stuff, there's plenty of people trading there. Vintage Game will be there, Hidden Chest will be there, Sore Thumbs will be there, Stu and Daz will be there, Fob will be there, Mrs. Bear, Retro Repair Bear, will be in the house. We know where we are as well. We're down by the stage. So the table down there, there's us on one side, there's the stage in the middle, and there's Dana and Ant at Hidden Chest on the other side. So if you see them, we're the other side of it. Do come and say hello. And yes, so Mrs. Bear will be taking some of her work with her for sale. There'll probably be a box of 3D printed stuff she's been doing as well, which we've had from Early On Assist, and those as well to take with us. And hopefully this time, if I'm going to sort out some of the stuff I've got, there'll be a box of junk as well. Not junk, stuff that I've accumulated, which I've got doubles of. So yeah, there'll be something for everybody. Do come along and say hello to Mrs. Bear, talk about any repairs, mods, things that you need doing. I know some people are bringing things to the expo for her. Yes, so you know, she will be there, and she will be selling, and she will be taking in any repairs that you need doing. So looking forward to that a great deal. I'll be there as well, but you know, I'm not the attraction. Don't come and talk to me about these things, about repairs and things. I will just say, go and speak to the boss. So a lot of people think I do the repairs. I don't know where they get this idea from. Have you seen me hold a screwdriver? I can barely hold it the right way around. Even so, less with the old soldering hot business. Oh God, does that happen? Right, it's gone to dark mode. Right, wakey, there we go. I'm going to have to keep doing that. Yes, it just keeps flicking off, and I keep flicking the Xbox controller. Don't worry about it. So yes, so she'll be there. She'll be in full flow. I dare say both days as well. So if you are coming, we'll be there on the Saturday and the Sunday. I think tickets are transferable. From what I've heard, if you bought one for one day and you can't make it, you can always go the following day, or something like that. I can't imagine there are many tickets left. It's an expo. There'll be arcade machines, there'll be computers, there'll be consoles all set up for you to play on. There'll be a pinball area. There's an area for talks. I've got guests, people who worked in the industry, people who know far more about these things than I ever will do. Yeah, it's going to be a really, really big event, and loads of people are going to go. And yeah, it's going to be just an event for the ages. The biggest event this year. The biggest event this year. Craig Turner, one of the organisers, will be there. He'll be selling his book, Game Not Over, which I've got a copy of here, which I'm holding in front of you, which you can see. Yeah, so make sure you go along to that, support the event. I said plenty of people there. I've been plugging this quite a few times over that. That's probably the last plug I'm going to do for it. So, you know, if you've not booked your stuff now, you are leaving it awfully late. What else is coming up also in June? Well, I know it's London Gaming Market, which we won't be going to. Also, a quick chat out for Retcon, which is the following weekend. This is the 15th of June, taking place at the the Greenford Community Centre in Greenford. And that's a UB postcode, which I think stands for Uxbridge, I'm maybe guessing. Down south, anyway. And again, you may be able to get the QR code off that. There we go, for the tickets. But yes, so there's going to be hardware on display. There'll be talks, guests, all sorts of different things going on there. I'm my very good friend Steve behind that. I'm hoping to get a chat with Steve before the event to get him on and talk about it and do a quick video on that. I'm going to sort that out, Steve. I'm really sorry I haven't spoken to you about that yet, but it's on me. It's on me thing. But there's a Facebook and there's Twitter and all sorts of social media stuff that I don't do on there. There's some sponsors as well down the bottom you can see. Yeah, so 2 events back to back. Definitely worth getting down there. 15th of June if you are in the south of England. You can't make it to Revival, you're down that way, why not go to this one instead? Definitely worth your time going. Lovely lad Steve. Met Steve and Ads, Amiga Old School. They were up at the Zap event last year, I think it was, end of last year. No, the Crash event at the end of last year. So yeah, good to see those guys, and do go and support that event at Retcon. I'll stick all the links below, like I usually do. Yeah, so that's busy going on. And then, yes, I've got that big event in November coming up, which is the gameplay, the 24-hour charity stream for the Glasgow Children's Hospital, which I'll talk more about closer to the time. But again, I'll stick a link to my good friend Gordon's video he put out a few weeks ago, just sort of streaming about it, sort of 10-minute video detailing what the whole event's about, and the game players who'll be there, right ragtag of... well, most of them are great game players, and there's one exception to the rule. But yeah, anyway, it's going to be fun. I've got a few months, that's November. I'll talk more about it closer to the time anyway, we get some more details about it. But yeah, if you are interested, I think Gordon's going to be bringing some leaflets to Revival, and we might have some leaflets to give out at our table. So yeah, if you like anything like that, I'll pass some out to you certainly. Yes, it's going to be quite a busy year, isn't it? It's this year. It's been busy so far, and it's going to be even busier. So Mrs. Bear's flat out with the repairs. I know some of you have given her great carloads recently and things like that, and she's working her way through them. It's great to see her so busy. It's great to see so many people have supported her, and I think she'll probably get a few more in at a Revival as well. It's funny when your dining room isn't a workshop, it used to be a dining room. I used to go in there and just sit down and read, and now I sort of walk in there and think, can I open the curtains in the front room because it's just so big? But I don't think it's something we anticipated would get quite as big as it has done. But it goes to show the quality of her work as well. Everybody keeps coming back to her for different things. It's great, it really is. Right, stop talking about that now. Yes, you may notice that I uploaded a video at the start of the Bank Holiday Monday. Yeah, Bank Holiday Monday at the start of Whitsun Week. It was a great time to put a video out. Me and my friend Jace over at Retro Games decided to combine our minimal talents. Well, I said he provides the title card, the music, and I provide the talent. We did a sort of I say some podcast. Are they podcasts? I don't know. It's just like an hour and a bit talk. Me and him just sort of talking games and other things as well, which is what we're going to try and do. It's not going to be a complete gaming focus because we're both kids of the child of the 70s. So we grew up through all the great 70s, 80s, 90s pop culture. So we try and talk about that. In the first episode, we talked about gaming. We talked a little bit about music and Eurovision. We talked a bit about the election coming up. So it's a bit of a mismatch. But we'll hopefully drop in a couple of these in as we go along. People who watched it really have left us some really nice feedback. Thank you so much for that. We're looking forward to doing some more recording. And we spent a good long time talking, so there's a lot of stuff that didn't get into that first episode, which may crop up as an extra episode or being dropped into future episodes. So yeah, it's just me and him freestyling and taking out the best bits and sort of uploading them. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I mean, Jason's a good friend of mine. I gave him a shout out on YouTube originally, and he's visited here twice in the last year or so to come and see us, and he's converse by email every now and again, and yeah, he's just a really nice guy. Love spending time with him, and we've been thinking about this for quite a bit now, so just a bit of fun. It's not going to affect the other things. I know we did this only 8-bit chat between me and Sean at Retro Games Revived. We've been trying to film a second episode. We were going to do it a couple of weeks back. Sean wasn't very well, so hopefully we'll do that. That's not going to affect that, and we may try and get a TMB in during the month of June as well. Again, it's just so many different things going on at the moment, and trying to pin people down and other commitments. So it's not going to affect those. They will still drop in when we get those. When I get those sorted out. Yeah, it's just a lot of different things. Not trying to keep everybody happy. We're just trying to do different things. And I enjoy the chats. I've been talking now for about half an hour, and I've done nothing so far. But that's the way my videos go, isn't it? Yeah. And I think Big Game Al's video where I meet him in Worcester's coming up as well. This week, maybe. I think he mentioned the start of June. I mean, we only met up at the start of April, but, he's a very busy man. Very busy man. He's never in. That's probably what he's doing. Certainly not at work anyway, I know that. But yeah, so different things like that dropping in every now and again, and yeah, just trying to keep things ticking over. But I have bought some stuff. I have, and this is a dusty old tape special, because if you don't like tapes, you might be out of luck. If you do like tapes, this is going to be quite enjoyable. Yeah, I mentioned Jace. I mean, this isn't a promotional video for his business or anything like that. I just happened to notice on his last video, which he put out on a couple of Fridays ago, there was some stuff on there that I'd like the look of, so I thought I'd have a look and spend a bit of time poking around the website, and actually bought a few bits and pieces off him. So we've got some dusty old tapes to show you. Now, some of these are actually going to be, they've got some, what's the word? Nostalgia. That's it, nostalgia. And that's the only way I can describe it. So we've got some nostalgic games, we've got some Commodore cardboard, we've got some Amstrad and Spectrum as well. And why is it that sometimes the 8-bit micro cardboard survives a lot better than, say, the Nintendo cardboard of the same era? I know what people are going to say, yeah, because 8-bit micros are rubbish and nobody played them, whatever. But they seem to survive, I've seen some shocking Nintendo cardboard recently out and about, 8-bit. Well, I say recently, probably at some point in April, I saw some terrible Nintendo cardboard. And every time you find, 8-bit, micro cardboard, it tends to be in pretty good condition. Not all of it, I'll be honest, not all of it. Some of it even I go, I'm not going to touch that. And some of it does look like it's been flattened by a steamroller. But even 16-bit cardboard, micro cardboard, is pretty good as well. So I'm not sure, was it different material? It all seems a bit thicker. The Nintendo cardboard which I've got up there, I don't know, it just doesn't seem quite as strong as this British cardboard we have. I don't know. Weird. Always seems to survive a lot better. I mean, some of the stuff here does show wear and tear, but some of it, I mean, there's a couple of them just look really good. And I've bought stuff which is just in, you know, immaculate. I think the last 8-bit stuff I bought April, May time, I think. There was one game in there which, I mean, it just looked like it come out of the shop. It was absolutely immaculate, and it's always nice to find that, but you end up paying a price for it. You can't see that against my T-shirt, can you? I'm sort of like, you're drinking nothing. No, I am. I'm drinking orange juice, or squash, or cordial, if you come from a bygone days. Right, so let's get on to this tape thing, because obviously I think you're sitting there wondering why I'm going to actually do something. Let's talk about this. Let's start with some little case stuff. These are budget re-releases. First one is nostalgic. It's the only reason I bought it, and it was £1. This is Italy 90 on the Commodore 64. Why am I buying 34-year-old football games? Well, for the only reason, the fact that this is a nostalgic one, because a friend of mine years and years ago, probably around about 1990, I'm guessing, he had it's something I never associate with having a computer. I don't think I've ever known he had a computer before or since. And even when we got back in contact about 15 years ago, I still asked him that question. I said, whatever happened to your Commodore 64? He said, I don't know, I didn't really play on it. It was one of the most bizarre things. People at school who were crying out to be given computers, i.e. me, right? My parents, buy me a computer. Everybody else has got one. No. Okay. And people who I would never associate with having any interest in computer games. So all the conversations we had at school, talking about computer games, and this guy wasn't in part of the conversation, not because we excluded him. He's a very good friend of mine. I've known him for many years, and it was great to reconnect with him 10-15 years ago, but I've not seen him for quite a long time now. And he had a what was he got? A Commodore 64. He didn't need a Commodore 64. He got no interest in computers, but he had one. And that was one of the games. And we went round to his house, and about 4 or 5 people in the street who went to the same school. And we just ended up going around his house one afternoon and playing games. But we were playing stupidly crap games like Italy 90, which is on the Commodore 64 is actually a top-down football game like Microprose Soccer. I had that on the Amiga, and it was a slightly different sort of behind the player. Sort of like Sensible Soccer, but a lot sort of more pulled in. And I mean, it wasn't a bad game. It was one of those games where the ball stuck to the foot. So, you had your high echelon kick-off, Sensible Soccer, etc., Man United Europe, and then you had your real low-grade rubbish. And then you had somewhere in between that Italy 90 with C. I used to play it. I used to love Italy 90. It was great. It was really good fun. I mean, it was dead easy to get through it. I mean, it wasn't a great challenge, but I really used to enjoy it. And we just had an afternoon playing that and some sort of god-awful cricket game, which for some reason we really enjoyed, because we used to play cricket. I played cricket for years. And it was not like a Brian Lara game. It was very much a green screen with a pitch and then some crosses which represented the players, and the whole thing was played out on text. Yeah, we used to gather around those things back in the 80s and 90s. They were great. So that, but yeah, Italy 90, and they said that was £1 because it's in the wrong case. There's a slight holes in the back of the cover, but I ain't really bothered about that because that's just going to go into the cupboard and we'll sit there. Right, next one up. Speaking of cricket, I'll show you this one next, actually. The clam case. Yeah, I don't get many of them now. And this is another game which is nostalgic. This is Graham Gooch's Test Match Cricket, or Test Cricket as it says there on the front. Now this came out in various different, there's an alternative software, I think, re-release as well. I think there was a follow-up, Graham Gooch's All-Star Cricket on the Commodore 64, which I think was slightly upgraded. And then the gentleman behind the name, former England captain, 8,000 runs in Test cricket, Graham Gooch. Then there was a game on the 16-bit micros, which was Graham Gooch's World Class Cricket, which he is, if I can pull it out, the game, whatever that was, had just fallen off. There we go, a copy of that there. You might think I'm collecting Graham Gooch games. I'm not. This happened to come with a bundle of stuff I bought a long time ago, and sits there now. But yeah, I had a demo of that, and that's actually the game engine which more or less ended up becoming Brian Lara on the Mega Drive. So yeah, but again, because we used to play cricket, this was like the first real cricket game with proper graphics. You may or may not be able to see that down there. Yeah, proper graphics. You actually played the game. And there were two modes. There was one which was like a simulation mode, which was you sort of move the joystick in a certain direction, and then there was an arcade game where you had to use timing, and they were great fun. I mean, there's nothing special about it. I mean, it's a dirt cheap game anyway. Yeah, tape inside there, got a bit of glue effect on it, but I only paid again, I think about £1.50 for it. Yeah, you go. But yeah, again, just a nostalgic game for me, because we used to play cricket like when we were kids, and we spent many an hour playing that. But it's nice to have it. I've seen it quite a lot. I've just not picked it up. And I thought, well, I'll grab that because that's the original one, not the re-release as such. So yeah, nice to have that one. Nice to have that one. And then I picked the Hit Squad game up. Yes, I know. Now I'm not collecting them. No, I'm not collecting them. Why did I buy this one? Well, bizarrely, for some reason, it's one of these games where I think you've seen it so many times. And I've got it on Spectrum, and I got it on Amstrad, I think, as the Hit Squad. But I hadn't got the Commodore 64 version, so I thought it was only again a few quid, so I thought I'll grab it. I mean, it's not hard to get hold of, like literally. It's a combat school, so I nabbed that. This is one of the original joystick wagglers or wranglers, where you'd have to get a joystick. If you remember what joysticks were, they're sort of the precursor to controllers, and you sort of make sure you used to have suction cups underneath, make sure it was welded onto the table, and then you spent more time going like that with a joystick and waggling and making a hell of a racket, and then your parents come upstairs saying, what the hell are you doing? And they were more surprised you were waggling your joystick as opposed to doing anything else. But yes, you probably get more of a workout than you would have done having gone through the army training in combat school. But that was an arcade game originally, and when it came out, again, one of these games I've seen in the magazines at the time people talked about, never actually ever played. Yes, I've never played combat school, But I never had this stuff growing up, you see, everybody else had it. And they said a copy of the game, I'm going to go and buy a copy. Oh yeah, I'll come round, I'll go and buy this game first and bring it round. Bizarrely, for an extra £1, I could have had the dual case version, but for some reason I didn't want that, I wanted the Hit Squad version. I don't know, I've got space for dual case games, I've not got much space left for Hit Squad, I've got no space for anything else, really. But yeah, so that was a few quid, so those are the small case games anyway. Let's now move on to some Commodore cardboard, small boxes. We'll do this one first. Again, these are a couple of quid each, so again, nothing majorly expensive and probably nothing too unusual, but quite a sports thing going on here today. So we've now got Audiogenic World Class Rugby, Commodore 64 again. Now, I've never played a rugby game, or actually tell a lie. What did I say that? What did I say that for? Yes, I have played rugby now. The only rugby game I can remember playing was International Rugby Simulator on the Commodore 64, which wasn't actually a simulator at all. It was a cheap Codemasters budget game. And it looked and played like a cheap Codemasters budget game. But at the time, I think it was the only rugby game that was out there. And then I know we had Jonah Lomu's Rugby on the PlayStation one, which one I actually wanted to get, but I never actually managed to get hold of at all. And then through the Xbox PS2 generation, there were a couple of games in there. I've got some. And I think there was one on the Xbox I've got, which for some reason I decided to play with no instructions with it. I hadn't got a clue what I was doing. But this was just a couple of pounds, and like I said, for the old Stew thing, it's getting quite a few mentions this video, old Stew, isn't it? But yeah, really, again, that's probably what, this is 1990, I'm guessing. No year on the back, but she's got to be 1990, 1991, 30 odd years old, and it looks an awful lot better than some of the cardboard you see around. It's really good. Has it got the instructions? Yeah, I mean, there's not an awful lot to show you in there, but it does have the instruction manual behind that, which is all right. And there's some screenshots on the back, which happen to be the Atari ST one, so you're not going to get a good idea from that. It was described on the back as Mrs. Bear read this out, and when she stopped laughing afterwards, superb graphics and realistic gameplay, and all this atmospheric sound effects and music, sophisticated artificial intelligence guides computer controlled players. Well, I'm interested to see how that turned out in 1990, whatever it was. But yeah, just a nice addition there. Whether it's going to get played or not, I don't know. It's just a nice example, nice example of that. Yeah, a bit of rugby. Right, this is the last sports game, I promise it's the last one. Now, why have I got this bit? Oh, I've got the first game. So I thought, again, a couple of pound each. for this one. This is Gaza 2, not Gaza. I know it's topical at the moment. It's not Gaza, Gaza. For anybody who's not young enough to remember who Gaza was sort of like the English version of Mbappe, but obviously built completely differently from a different era, and absolutely looks nothing like him. And he wasn't French. Yeah, I mean, for those of us who remember watching Paul Gascoigne in his prime, you know, what a fantastic player whose career was never the same after that challenge in the FA Cup final when he quite literally decided to launch himself. Was it Des Walker he took down? Was it Gary Charles? I can't remember. Just literally launched himself at him. I know he was on that day, because he was only on the pitch 6 minutes before he got carried off with a knee injury, but he was on something. He was on a completely different planet that day. He was looking to stay on the pitch at all. I think the first foul he went in for, he could easily have been sent off. He'd been sent off nowadays, he wouldn't have lasted. But he's never quite the same player after that. Now, yes, there is. It's a Gaza 2. Yeah, because there was a Gaza 1. Anybody ever played Gaza 1, Gaza Superstar Soccer? Because that was a football game which tried to be slightly different and play the game from different perspectives. So, at the time, it was very much the thing to do a side-on view for a football game. So it started off like that for the middle third of the pitch. But every time we got up to one end, it would change to a view ahead of the goal, more behind the player, so that the angles would confuse everybody. I did a gameplay on the 64 on Commodore Corner a couple of years back now, and I didn't hate it. It's not a great game. It's not a great game. I stretch the imagination, but I did manage to win the game I played, which is always a bonus. Yes, I know. I did win a game. So yeah, it's not a great game by any stretch of the imagination, and this is a slightly different one because this is a top-down perspective. These are the instructions you got. So you know, wow, that's worth a manually. Loads of different icons down the side here, which you'll need for the game and stuff like that. But again, in nice condition. It was actually advertised on the front of the box. It came with a poster and a badge, but sadly they're not in there, which is probably why this was just a couple of quid. But again, you know, look at the quality, of the box. Again, it's really nice condition. It's even got the original price label stuck on it. Maybe try and peel that off. But yeah, it's just really nice condition. I don't think it's meant to be a particularly good game, because I didn't make a Gaza 3. So anyway, but yes, yeah. So Gaza 2 goes into the collection. And I haven't got that on any other format, because I do collect multiples of everything. There'll be a video coming on that when I can be bothered to film it. Right, let's move into what territory? Oh, let's go into big box. Yeah, got some big box cardboard. We all love big box cardboard. And again, this stuff survived really well. This one here. This is again point of interest. If you're new to collecting micro stuff, you may be interested to know that some Amstrad and Spectrum games actually got a dual format release, which I'll show you in a second what I mean. So this is more of a bonus. It's actually 4 games in 2. Well, 1 box, 2 games on the thing, and technically you can play it on 2 different systems. It's all good, isn't it? That's because they were porting games from the Spectrum to the Amstrad pretty much using the same code, so you can do dual releases. It's great. I can't even hold this in one hand actually, or can I? Yes, I can, just about. Finger span. It's his Pit Fighter and Super Space Invaders for the Amstrad and Spectrum. Now, I've not seen this before. This is from Domark. Was it Domark or Dumark? I've always called it Domark. But you got Pit Fighter on one side, and then you got Super Space Invaders on the other, so you can actually decide when you put it on your shelf. Do you want to show Pit Fighter and miss the scorn of everybody you know, or you want to say Super Space Invaders and show you proper retro? See, the choices you have to make these days on this sort of thing. But yeah, some really nice cardboard in here, and there's 2 tapes inside. And you got instructions as well. I do like these old instruction manuals, are just fantastic. So you've got, there you go. So you've got Super Space Invaders. It's like a wall freeze. Remember wall freezes when you were a kid? Probably not. Are they a thing anymore? Yeah, so Super Space Invaders. Super Space Invaders on the one side, and then you've got Pit Fighter on the other. Now, of the 2, Super Space Invaders is by far the best game. and that's really not saying much for the Pit Fight, because Pit Fight is one of those games which is utterly terrible. It was a digitised fighting game, sort of like Fight Club, but like 20 years earlier. And it had digitised graphics in it. I can't remember if that was before or after Mortal Kombat. Probably before. And it hasn't survived particularly well. In fact, I think at the time I wasn't particularly impressed with it. But time has not been kind to Pit Fighter. There are some many terrible versions of it. I've got a Master System version. And I've seen the Spectrum and Amstrad versions running, and they are not good. They are not good. But again, it's one of these things, why do they bother trying to put these things into home micros when they just wouldn't work properly? Is there a good version of Pit Fighter? I don't know. It's also one of these games which you have to, I think it's a second fight, you have to beat a woman up, which it doesn't sit very comfortably with some people. Which you can understand why. I mean, times were different back then, but you know, there were women in Mortal Kombat, there were women in Street Fighter. Maybe because it's a bit more realistic, it's actual like proper human people with digitised to do it, they're not wearing costumes or anything like that. I don't know. There's the back of it. You can see both these games were arcade. Yes, Space Invaders, Super Space Invaders was actually an arcade game. And it's slightly different, you can see there at the bottom, so it uses different backgrounds and things. Very good game, got it on the Master System, worth digging out. Pit Fighter there, some screenshots. Those will not be the Spectrum or Amstrad screenshots, I can tell you. It probably tells me there, it says the Amiga version. And also Super Space Invaders is the Amiga version as well. See, I hate that. 8-bit game, 16-bit screenshots, robbing you. Yeah, I think I paid a £5 for that, but yeah, I've not seen that before. It's really, I've not seen that before. It's really nice. And again, the cardboard is just again pretty damn good. We you know, every Nintendo cardboard, but I you know, 8-bit cardboard, 8-bit micro, 16-bit micro cardboard can be fantastic. We'll stick with the Amstrad because it's the last Amstrad game I've got, and then what I'll do is we'll move on to the final 3 Commodore 64 ones. So we're actually now into the compilation zone. The rest of these are compilations. You know, if you're a regular viewer, I do like my compilations. They were value for money back in the day, and they're still value for money for now. I mean, okay, I'm not paying a huge amount less. I probably paid a bit more for this than I would have liked to have done, but I usually would do. But to be fair, I just felt, you know what, I'm just going to do it this time. You know, and it still represents good value for money. You've got 4 games in here, and we're about to enter the world of sort of talismanic people off, you know, characters off the telly. So you've got James Bond, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah, you've got Luke Skywalker, and Wolf from Gladiators. Yeah, I'm not joking, Wolf from Gladiators. Because we've got Heroes, also by Dumark or Domark. So you've got 4 games on there. You've got Licence to Kill, which was one of the Welsh James Bond films. Licence to Kill. Timothy Dalton. Licence to Kill was his second one, wasn't it? Yes, it was his second. He did The Living Daylights, and then he did Licence to Kill. He just did 2, didn't he? Then you've got Barbarian 2. So I think famously that was Wolf from Gladiators on the front cover. That's not him. Although it does look quite like him, doesn't it? I mean, it's fairly close approximation. Then you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Running Man, which I think are they remaking The Running Man? Did I read that a few months ago? Did I imagine it? Oh man, yeah. Oh, why? I mean, The Running Man is exactly what it was, a low budget sci-fi, you know, super violent sci-fi thing. It's pretty tame to watch nowadays. I watched it a few months back. It's not exactly held up particularly well, but wow, why they remake these films? Leave it alone. Let it be what it was. And then you've got Luke Skywalker on the Inks. We've got the original conversion of Star Wars, the arcade game, on here as well. So you've got 4 games for your money. That's the back of the box there. So yeah, Timothy Dalton, Licence to Kill, which I think is not a bad game. I think I've got that. I picked that up on the Commodore 64 up. I think got that within the last 12 months. Certainly Barbarian 2 is one of these games just crops up hugely in my collection. The Running Man on any system is a terrible game. I've played the Commodore 64 version. It is horrible. And I even remember reading the Amiga version at the time, reviews in the magazine, like giving it like 25% or something. I'm not sure why. And then Star Wars, which is the old Vector Graphics arcade game, which I'm not sure how it will run on the Amstrad, but well, they're going to give it a go anyway, aren't they? They'll give it a go. But yes, it was interesting one. That's the oldest game on there. I mean, obviously the Star Wars arcade was what 82, 84, something like that, and they eventually bought it out onto the home systems about 4 years later. But it does come with this rather nice freebie, because we always like to see these things in here. And again, looks nice too. It's actually a poster. There we go. Isn't that lovely? You can see that sort of impression there right in the middle. That just seems like stayed flat for most of its life. It's hardly been opened up. It's maybe the first time it's been opened up. We better put it back together again. I found a few of these. I always think it's worth that, and you have to pay a little bit extra for it. Then that's what you do. There's the instruction manual as well. Again, really nice condition manual, if you like. And there's 2 tapes in there. Is it worth showing you? I mean, unfortunately, the tape design is just great, is it really? You know, not great. Yeah, so they're both on there, both Amstrad versions. But yeah, so yeah, that was a little bit more than I like to pay, but to be honest with you, I think it was, you don't see it all that often. It's not one I've got on any other systems. I think it did come out on all 3 home micros, but yeah, not when you see a huge amount of. Do that one last of all, because there's a bit of a story behind that one. Let's move on to a driving compilation for the Commodore 64. Oh my goodness me, this is incredibly hit and miss in terms of quality of the games on this one. This is Wheels of Fire. Also, not from Domark, because they're on there. It's actually a collaboration between Ocean, Domark, US Gold and Activision. So you've actually got 4 different software houses, publishers, put in the game compilation here. What games have you got for your money? For $5.99 back in the day. There you go. Well, you've got Turbo Outrun, you've got Chase HQ, you've got Hard Driving, and you've got Power Drift. Now, Turbo Outrun has its admirers. I'm not overly convinced by it. Chase HQ on the Commodore 64 is again, like the Ringman, a terrible game by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, an appalling conversion of, you know, if you thought Outrun on the 64, but go and play Chase HQ. It's horrible. It's a far better game on both the Amstrad and the Spectrum, and it should never have been. Yeah, mind you, the Commodore 64, not particularly known for its 3D effect racing games. Hard Driving, which is even worse, could you imagine that? Which was a Vector Graphics, like a virtual reality driving game. I think the urban legend is it never actually got a proper full price release. I think he just got bunged on the compilations, and then I think got the Hit Squad release as well. And then Power Drift, which actually is one of the best racing games on the Commodore 64. If you've ever seen the Power Drift arcade game and how they managed to put it on the Commodore 64, they did a fair job of it. They really did. A friend of mine had it. It's a really, really fun racing game. Had no right to be that good. There's the back of it. You can see some of the graphics of the box art. This would have been the posters as well. So yeah, again, not showing the correct screenshots on the back. They're all 16-bit shots. Which is a bit of a shame. Have I played? I said play Turbo Outrun and anything else. Turbo Outrun and anything else. I think I did. Chase HQ certainly had the Amiga version. Hard Driving had the Amiga version, and Power Drift had the Amiga version. Again, Chase HQ on the Amiga, pretty average. Hard Driving, uncontrollable mess. Power Drift. It was graphically very good. It got a bit muddled when it was trying to do you have to go up and down contours, and it got really, really confusing as where you were going. But again, it was trying to simulate a hydraulic arcade game, which just wasn't possible. All the tapes come in a bag with the manual, which is also in really nice condition as well. No poster on that one. But yeah, and all 4 games have their own individual tape, which is also unusual because Hero just has one on each side. But there's actually 4 individual tapes for that one. Again, it's one that's eluded me. I've seen it out and about, but again, probably paid about what I've seen it for. Maybe a little bit less than what I've seen it for. Sorry, so I didn't do too bad with them. And again, nice condition box, bit of edging around there, but generally speaking, what's that on the side there? A bit of wear on that one, but nice box. Nice box. Excuse me, it's very dry in here tonight. Right, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Right, better get move on. This is the reason I bought this stuff. This is the game I actually bought the rest of this stuff from. It's amazing, isn't it? If you buy one and then you end up buying everything else. I thought I got this, but I hadn't, because I double checked and I found out I actually got the Spectrum version. So this is the In Crowd. This is an Ocean compilation, who were probably the kings of compilations going back then. And you've got a whopping 8 games on here. And this, we've already seen Combat School. You can see Combat School's there. We've also got Karnov, Groizor, which was more commonly known as Contra. Barbarian, is that the first one? Yeah, Barbarian, the first one. We've got Platoon, The Last Ninja, Predator, and Target Renegade. There's a real mix of stuff there. Some tie-ins, film licenses, original games, arcade conversions. I mean, 8 games. I mean, you'd have probably paid $14.99 for that back in the day when it came out. I mean, 8 games for 15 quid. Yeah, that was seriously top value back then. And you know, from my own experiences on the Commodore 64, Karnov I've never played, but I don't think it's very good. Contra I've not played, also Groizor I've not played on the Commodore 64, but I do like Contra. Combat School we've touched on. Platoon, I couldn't really get on with Platoon. Barbarian's fun, quite enjoyed that. The Last Ninja's great stuff. One of the best isometric games you can get on the system. Target Renegade, yeah, it's side-scrolling beat 'em up, really good. And Predator, which is a overrated pile of poo. I've said that many times. Not the game it's cracked up to be. People can tell me. Well-thumbed manual on this one, but I don't mind a well-thumbed manual because that shows that people have actually played this stuff. And there's actually 2 layers of tapes. So there's a couple of some tapes there, and underneath there's, I'll just show you very quickly, if I drop everything, another 4. So 6 tapes altogether. That's quite whopping, isn't it? A whopping amount of tapes. But yes, so that was the one I initially went to JC's site to buy. And again, it's got some shelfware around the edges and stuff on the boxes, but again, nice condition. I think my Spectrum one probably is actually worse condition than that. I just need to alter the box, it won't shut properly. I think it's where the tapes are laying. I'll sort that out afterwards, but yeah, just nice to have that one. I can't be short of many of these big compilations. I'm going to have to do a list and work out where I am with it. Yeah, so I'll pick it up. And then the last one I got, now this this I've already got, but my copy, that's the best way to describe it, is there's evidence of water damage on it. So I think between that one and this one I might be able to pull a really good one together. This is the 10 Gen trilogy. Now this came out quite in 92 possibly, and it was actually given away with the Home Computer Club. If you remember the Home Computer Club, back years and years ago, you used to have these things we used to be members of. You'd pay, you know, I don't know, £10 or something, the privilege of doing it. But you had to buy a full price game every couple of months, and if you didn't, I think they sent you one, regardless if you didn't do it, or unless you cancel your membership, and then they charge you for. I don't know. I was a member of Special Reserve, which is slightly different, but you can always find stuff in Special Reserve. I'm not sure about the Home Computer. I don't know much about it. But this was actually given away as a sort of like a free, not say a freebie, as a joining gift or something, I don't know. It says there on the front, this is the Home Computer Club Special Edition. And this is the most common one of the 2. I'm not sure what mine is in there. I'm guessing probably the same. But it's basically 3 games on there, 10 Gen arcade games. We've got Cyberball, which is there, the futuristic American football game set in 2022. They missed the mark on that one, didn't they? Because it's nothing like what it is now. It's still exactly the same game it was 30, 40 years ago. We've got Clax, which is one of my favourite games, and Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters, which is a fantastically underrated isometric, not so but platform. It's sort of like a run and gun, really. I played it an awful lot on the Amiga. My mate had it on the 64. We played it on both systems. We had a lot of fun with it. It was probably, you know, it does get a bit boring after a while. It's probably fair to say it's an average arcade game, which got a fairly better than average home computer version. But definitely worth tracking down anyway. So those are the 3 games that came out on it. There's the back of the box. I did say I've got Cyberball on Amstrad Hit Squad. Klax is predominantly appearing throughout my collection. And also Escape from the Planet Robot Monsters. It appears quite a bit now. It's on, I got it on the Amiga, got it on Hit Squad, and now on here. Now, what's interesting about this one is it's one of these weird boxes. This is, again, towards the end. I've got a couple of these. I've got an Amstrad compilation, and you're about like Dreamcast and Sega Saturn cases. These are probably not far off it being far behind. See, they just open that up. Just have a bit of sellotape on there, which Chase did let me know about. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to hold that there for too long in case the hinges broke. They are actually intact at the moment, which is quite nice. But you may not be able to see on the inside there. It's just all a bit cheaply put together. I mean, they put the paper around the outside. That bit there doesn't really sit properly. It flops down. I'll take those out of there. There's an instruction manual on the back, and there's 3 tapes of the game. But yeah, it's just sort of like plonked in there. It's not been sort of secured properly. It just feels a bit. The case is nice. I like the case. I like the idea of the case. I just don't. They're just brittle. They are brittle, of course. You know, 30-odd-year-old plastic. It makes Attenborough cry. It makes me cry when it's in, you know, it starts falling apart like this. And it will outlive us all, I'm sure. But yes, not an expensive trilogy to pick up, this one. But like I said, I remember now I've got it. But my version could do with upgrades. So I think between this one and that one, I could probably put together a good version. I think my box actually is a little bit better. I don't know, I'll have to check it out anyway. But yeah, it's just another compilation for the collection. So yeah, all told, I think about 50, 60 quid or something like that for those there. Yeah, it's a big pile, but you know, those compilations were near enough, you know, sort of between 7 and 10, 12 quid each. So, but yeah, some really nice stuff there, and I could have probably bought a bit more really, but I try not to spend too much at the moment. But yeah, because there's events and things coming up. So it's nice to have some stuff. But that's the first of I've bought since April. That's where I am at the moment. We're nearly at the end of May. You know, talk about no mow May with your lawns. It's like no buy games for May for me. That's what it's been really. But I've not really been anywhere or not been actively hunting anything out or seeking anything down in particular. So that would explain it really. But nice to have some new stuff in there. Yeah, so that's it. I've got nothing else to show you. Hope you've enjoyed that. Did you play any of those? Have you ever seen those before? Do you have those back in the day? Can you recommend some more decent cardboard you've seen out and about? Have you seen any decent cardboard lately? What do you make of Catherine? You've had a good long enough look at it. Most of you probably been watching that and listening to me, I dare say. Yeah, but it's just been nice to talk to you again. It's been nice to do a video back. And like I said, I'll you know, just pop some stuff out when I'm here. I'm fine. You know, just cracking on as we do. But yeah, thanks very much indeed for watching. It's been a pleasure to talk to you once more, as we always do. And I'll do it again soon. But until then, take care. Bye for now.